Hi everyone, I'm Jesse Krull. Welcome to Time Media's The Locker Room. The third-ranked St. Thomas football team travels to Northfield Saturday to battle Carleton after a bye week and the big win at St. John's. The Tommies are 3-0 and in a four-way tie for the first place in conference. I'm joined today by Coach Glenn Caruso and sophomore running back Ryan Toney. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Coach, you beat Carleton last year 56-0.
Right.
What do you expect out of them this year?
I think they're a better team. I think their talent placement is just about as good as last year, but I think they're better coached than they were last year. They've hired a new coach who's a great guy, and he's brought on some assistants who are fantastic football coaches, and they understand kids around this area. So, their talent's not a whole lot different, but less of it is about what we expect out of them, and more of it is it about what we expect out of us and how we can play. 2 years ago, they played us to a very, very close half, and then we pulled away in the second half. Last year, we went down there with a good demeanor, good intent, good vision, and offense scored, defense scored, special teams scored, and it was a fun day.
Ryan, you're second in the MIAC with 5 touchdowns. Also, you're 10th in the MIAC in rushing yards per game. What makes the defense? What's part of your game makes defenses so confused about how you play?
It's basically our communication that I have with the linemen and the trust. I have to trust my linemen to know that they're going to get the blocks, and vice versa. They have to trust and know that I'm going to hit the holes, and that's just the way it works.
Coach, you gave up 24 yards per rush to the St. John's. That's pretty good.
Well, let's correct that. 24 yards rushing total.
Rushing total, yeah.
It was probably about a yard per rush. But our defense has done a great job. We've played 3 games already, Jesse, and we've allowed 99 yards on the ground in 3 games. So a lot of teams say we're going to stop the run. What I love about our defensive staff, our defensive personnel, is that we commit to it with the right numbers of bodies in the boxes. I think we got great players, but I also think they're very, very diligent, obedient, well coached. And to be able to hold a St. John's who prides themselves on running the ball to 24 yards felt great. And the most important thing about it was, even though there were times where they actually had us down for a little bit until we scored 4 touchdowns without them answering. But even during the time where we were down, we still felt very comfortable and confident because they weren't able to run the ball. So running the ball on offense, stopping the run on defense, keys to almost any victory, as witnessed 2 weeks ago at St. John's.
Again, like you said, being down, you gave up 300 yards of passing. Do you think that's going to be a problem against Carleton this week?
Well, we're always trying to get better, but the bottom line is teams can pass. You look at 2 games ago when we played River Falls, you can choose to do whatever you want. All we can do is take away what we want to take away. We took away the River Falls and the St. John's run game, so they've got to go to something else. They're not just going to kneel on the ball. The next thing is a pass, and teams can get their passing yards. Obviously, 300 is a little bit more than average, certainly more than we're willing to give up. So we have to be better at that, but if given the opportunity of what we're going to stop, it's going to be the run game.
Ryan, Aaron Tyler Bird is also a sophomore running back. How hard do you think it is for defenses to plan against a 2-back option?
Well, we both have very different style of runnings. He's more of a north and south power back, and I'm like elusive speed back. So not only that, like the 1-2 punch, also while one is playing, one is on the sidelines resting, so there's always fresh legs coming in. So I think that's been why we've had such great success in the running game.
All right. And now it's time for this week's fan question. Coach, this one's for you.
Go ahead.
Senior Michael Becker wants to know, how do you think the MIAC race will turn out, and who do you believe is the strongest contender?
Well, this year is interesting because, as you alluded to in the beginning, there's 4 teams at the top right now, and it's so early. We're in week 5 right now, so it's so early. Certainly, I think the usual suspects are going to be there with teams like Bethel. Concordia, what a great start that they've had to their season. They beat St. John's last week while we had the bye and beat them handily, too. And I just think Concordia is everything you want in a team. They're hard-nosed kids. They're really well coached. The staff's awesome. The whole program's really solid. But then you got a couple waiting in the wings like an Augsburg. Augsburg right now is undefeated in conference, and they've upset some teams already in delayed fashion at the end of the game, but they've been able to do it. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm not going to predict who does what. I'm just going to work hard to play them on the field. But I'll tell you what, very interesting race. Usually a Concordia and an Augsburg are not at the top with some of the other teams at this point, and they are, and they're ready to go.
All right. If you have a question for the football team, tweet it to @TommyMedia. Thanks for joining us, guys. Be sure to check Tommy Media for the latest campus news. With Coach Glenn Caruso and Ryan Toney, I'm Jesse Krull. We'll see you next time in The Locker Room.